Well, greetings. Another fun-filled adventure on a teardown. Today we've got the venerable PlayStation 2. Well, this is going to be kind of a teardown and a build-up. We're going to actually get into this puppy and upgrade the motherboard. Got this at the basically the dump for $8, and I don't even know if it works. I don't have the plugs for it, but we're going to fix all that. So let us begin. Network adapter, telephone and Ethernet. Well, it's going to be one of them. Probably got screws, I'm imagining, under these rubber feet, so we'll take the rubber feet off and tear this thing apart, and we'll show you what the guts look like. So as we tear this thing apart, on the bottom or on the top, you want to make sure that you don't damage this cable, because this is the eject and reset button, and we're going to use these on the new motherboard so that this kind of stays pretty much factory. And it is dirty. We'll show you how to clean this up and make it all sparkle. And take a look at that. Ew. So under here you got a place where apparently there would be a hard drive that fit in there. And underneath is the power supply. Now, I've seen these upgrades go where people just completely ignore the internal power supply. There's no reason for you to ignore it because, well, it's 6.2 amps at 12 volts. That's a pretty decent power supply for just about anything you're going to stuff in here. We might want to put a voltage regulator on there to bring it down to the 5 volts necessary, because in case you didn't know, or if you couldn't figure it out, let me get it here for you. We're going to put a Raspberry Pi 3, and we're going to put RetroPie on it, so let's see how this whole thing works out together here. So save the power supply, we'll put that off the side, and we'll start taking away the rest of this stuff here to get to the meat and potatoes. After taking out a whole bunch of itty bitty teeny weeny screws, there, here and there, we get to go with the reveal. Pull this cover off, put that over there. Ooh, and there is where all the magic is. I think this thing also, yep, it also operates, this big piece of metal also operates as a heat sink, because we've got heat conductive tape on there. Let's get this right. Yep. So apparently this chip, which must be the power regulator, and this chip, which I'm not sure what that is, apparently run hot. I would figure that the other chips in here would have been the ones that run hot, but apparently not. The graphics chip and everything runs apparently pretty cold. So we'll undo these drive cables. Put this we're gonna save this so that when we put it back together, it'll cover up the hole. Won't be functional because the Raspberry Pi does not use the CD-ROMs, and it uses images. So basically, you just download the images of whatever game you want to play onto the Raspberry Pi. We'll get into that later. Okay. So this is the main logic board. It's pretty crusty looking. Apparently it got wet at some point in time. There are some heat sinks on the top. Oh yeah, this is the oh, here we go. So they mostly put this shielding over them so that they have the FCC Class B rating on them. What that basically means is that these parts and components that are in here make radio frequencies, and you don't want that stuff transmitting all over the yard or into your neighbor's TV. The Emotion Engine. GS. Looks like lots of custom silicon in here. Oh yeah, way custom silicon. There's some silicon that's glued right to the board. It's dyed right to the board here. It's put under some epoxy. I don't know if we can get a close-up of that or not. Maybe. Right there. You see those chips? I don't think they're ball grid array. I think those are, well, yeah, they might be ball grid arrays. BGAs of some sort. I can't see a number on them. Maybe I could. My eyes were better. Anyway, get your memory backup. Got your graphics chips. Got your GS chip. Got some other chip. I don't know. Some Sony Entertainment. Over here we've got another Sony computer entertainment chip. Pretty much all custom logic. Nothing in here to be upgraded. Copyright 2002, Sony Computer Entertainment Incorporated. All rights reserved. Quite fun-filled, to say the least. So, anyway. Let's get one more shot of all these chips on here. Oops. They're pretty. I might have to take a heat gun to these little units here and pull them off and see what they are, because they're just pretty. They got kind of an iridescent sort of a shimmer to them. Anyway, the funny thing about these Sony PlayStation 2s is there was a big deal going around back when they came out with them, that they had to have an export license on the technology which was inside of them from the military. Because apparently the graphics in this computer, or this video game system, were so good at the time that they could be used, you know, for simulating missiles or making maps. I don't know, whatever. Could have been just a marketing ploy, because the graphics, comparatively to what's coming out now, not super great. So we'll just put this off to the side. There might be some other stuff we want to rob off of here later. Might take that plug off, I don't know. Inside here we have, as I showed previous, the Sony network adapter for the PlayStation 2, and this is just basically a plug-on box on the back that gives us a phone line and a, I'm probably guessing maybe 10 base Ethernet adapter. They might have had 10100, I'm not sure, I'd have to look it up on the specs, but it doesn't really matter because we're not going to use this proprietary hardware. No, we're going to use something completely different. We'll take all this out. It's snapped in. Probably snaps in, doesn't it? Yep, looks like the board snaps in. Should just come out with this cane metal for protection. Ain't working. So as it turns out, it's just a couple of little tiny black screws. Two holding this board down, and I think these two here holding that down. Standard Phillips head, so we don't have to mess around with the torques. And that's the plug. So you got Ethernet on one side. This is the Ethernet board. Got the Ethernet there. And we have telephone line on the other side. Yep. The whole thing just snaps right out of there. So what we end up with is an empty box that will screw onto the back of the cabinet, where we can put our new Ethernet connector. Ooh, what is this? It's a speaker. Tiny little speaker that goes to the phone. Well, it did have 56K dial-up capability. Woohoo. It's got the Connextant Smart SCH56 telephone chip on it. Good enough. So apparently I found out why this here particular unit was at the dump, and that is because the CD-ROM drive was all messed up. Somebody had done some bad things to it, I guess. Yes. So what we'll do is we'll take out all of this stepper motor stuff, junk the inside, and probably just hot glue the door shut, because it didn't work anyway. Yeah. So basically when we're done putting it all back together, front cover's coming off a little bit, we have all gutted out, and once we glue it shut, it'll still look pretty and somewhat complete the front of the case to original factory look. So I think we want this piece too, where the memory cards and the game controllers plugged in, and we're just gonna basically pull that stuff out. Serves no purpose for what we're doing with it. Take off all of the pins. So we've got the base plastic insert left. So let's go back to this part. Standard plastic case, more plastic case. We'll take out this switchboard here, take out these switches, because what we're going to do to clean these up and make them look all sparkly, fresh and new, well, I'll show you in a minute. So here we are at the meat and the potatoes of this here assembly, or reassembly of the PlayStation 2. As you can see, it's all sparkly clean after getting run through the dishwasher. All of the I don't know what you call it, air filter, dust catcher, hairball maker, whatever that material is that covers up these vents to keep children from stuffing dimes through them, I guess. That's all cleaned up, and we're going to decide where we want to put the Raspberry Pi, because we're going to put this CD-ROM basically back where it goes, put everything back together so that we can get it pretty much back to factory look. Won't be factory on the inside, but it will be a factory look. Repurposing instead of just tossing it out, I guess you could say. So, put that off the side. Let's see what we do with. Oh, now that's cute. That's cute. You'd think that they were dishing up little boxes of chocolate. Got the resealable for cookies. Mrs. Fields cookie bag here for the Raspberry Pi. It's not even static. Suppressed. No static wrap on it. Okay. Alright, well, we'll just move on here. This is the Raspberry Pi. This is our wonderful backplane that we get to put on, so the CD-ROM, or what's left of it, will go here. I'll bounce. Not being friendly. Oh wait, no, it doesn't go there. It goes over here. I got it backwards. So the CD-ROM goes there, and then that goes into the carrier. Logically, looks like someplace here is where we'd want to put the Raspberry Pi. Somewhere in this general vicinity. But as you remember, we're going to be using that power circuit. So let's make sure that we're not putting it in the same place where that mounts. I don't think that mounts on the top. I remember that as mounting on the bottom. So let's flip this over, see where it goes. Plug towards the back. Plastic protector that goes in here. Just like that. That's where that plastic protector has to go. Oh, fits down in there like that, I think. Pretty good. And the circuit board. Have to mount. Yep, circuit board goes on the bottom like that. So that leaves one place where we can put the Raspberry Pi, and that is over here, in that general vicinity. So some people say, well, why would you put a Raspberry Pi, of course it's a Pi 3, it's a quad core deal, instead of just leaving this? Well, we're going to put a RetroPie on this Raspberry Pi, and this will let us play all of the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Mame, Commodore 64, Atari, Atari 2600, 7200, Jaguar. Pretty much it will emulate every single one of those retro games like that. It won't play PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox games, things like that. They're probably a little bit too new. In fact, I know they're too new for that. But you're going to end up with a pretty much a retro package that'll play all the retro stuff, including all of the MAME. Is, if you're not unfamiliar with that, that's all of the stand-up video games from back in the 80s, like Asteroids and Robotron 2046 and Ye Are Kung Fu, and all of those games like that. Mortal Kombat, quite a few of the Mortal Kombat games were all stand-up. So MAME will simulate that processor system, video system for those kind of games, and it will be in a lovely case. So I'm just going to. Oh yeah, well you're probably wondering also how we're going to get the controllers. Well, we're going to use PlayStation 3 controllers, and we're going to, because they're going to be USB, we'll basically use these adapters to bring the USB out to the front. And I'm probably going to try to put the USB plugs right here. It may be a little more difficult than that. I might have to. We'll just see how that works out, because as you can see, maybe you can see. I'm not sure. Oh, right here. Yeah. As you can see, the plug where the screws mount up on each side is going to be a little bit outside the case, so it may not be too bad. We might be able to make that work. I might have to put one screw over here to hold this other side on, but it should work. And then we'll do the same thing with the HDMI. We'll put an extension cable on the HDMI cable. We'll put an extension on the compact flash, so that we can bring it out the front someplace. So if you want to pull the compact flash card out, you can. I don't see any reason for it because you're going to be network enabled. You'll be able to get into it from your PC, basically using like a virtual terminal like VLC or something like that.